Hello. Okay, my friends, I have a journal from February 1st, the second of that day, to share with you. And just to give you a heads up, I recently discovered a 12D conversation that I forgot about from 12/28 of last year. So that'll be coming up soon also. So here we go. Okay, and again, this is from 2/1. Well, I'm still feeling really great, light and airy, more energetic than I'm used to, and just wonderful inside. Lovely. And I wish it on simply all of you. We're all headed this way. Well, meanwhile, there's 3D. I have an interesting question for you. And while I hope it may apply to all, it may not. I must ask you, is this still really 3D? To me, at least, it's feeling like something a bit higher. Maybe not 5D just yet, but a definite move in that direction, I guess. I wonder if there is such a thing as 3.5 or 4.5D, huh? Hey, don't forget, be open. Anything is possible. Now, I don't mean to irritate by being or seeming overly cheerful. I'm aware this is in serious contrast to what many are feeling right now. Yet, my friends, what else can I offer you but heart flow, but my song, my truth? I won't fake it even for you. As I've mentioned before, though, I come from an academic background, having spent many happy semesters and years attending classes of one sort or another. But I left that behind at some point, and I'm not even sure when. There was a period of close to 8 or 10 years, I'm guessing, where I could not bear to even hold a book in my hands or read a dust jacket, much less open the book. Somehow it repulsed me. I don't know how. Now, that time was very strange, for though I didn't understand it at all, and still don't, it came to me so very clearly that I completely gave in, surrendered to whatever it was. It felt right. Hey, intuition is too mild a word. It may have been an early manifestation of heart flow. I don't know. Anyway, again, not knowing why, suddenly I have maybe a dozen books by my side here and on my Kindle program on the PC. It sort of crept up on me. Definitely a new cycle has arrived. This is also great fun, and there is one book I simply must share with you. It's called Divining Truth, Straight Talk from Source, and it's by Tony Petrinovich, Sacred Sarah on YouTube. And I have links buried in the transcript. They're not at the top. You have to scroll down. Now, this is one of those where one reads just a bit, chapter at a time, and then takes a break. So helpful to let the depth of it soak in, or let it soak into the depths of you. Anyway, Tony asked me to do an Amazon review of it, suggesting I could read it once through and then go back and do it the way I was doing, the slow way. So I agreed, and I'm finding that works too. No doubt that many or most of you are familiar with what it's like once you've listened to or read most of the great spiritual authors and offerings so widely available now. What happens is that at some point you realize that you could be teaching some of them. You find it less and less there to offer you. You know, where you are now, it just doesn't satisfy, doesn't suit, nor does heart call you to it. Maybe it's just a habit to look outside of the self. Now, once I could read just about anything. Now, though, I go more and more to the within, or to a very few faithful teachers whose work and words seem to me to be simply ageless, always appropriate. This is symptomatic of more and more of the personal will, the personal interests falling away. Then, rarely, along comes a teacher or a book that is just dynamite. I find that Divining Truth is that. It's so simply arranged, laid out in 75 chapters based on 75 questions Tony has received often. She went into her communion with Source and answered each one. You really get the feeling it is being directly answered by Source all the way through. In addition to the questions, she has woven in a fictional story to illustrate those answers in real life. Well, fiction, but real, if you know what is meant. Much of this story is taking place in Africa among the beloved elephants. And I'm just riveted to that now, just as much as to the basic structure of the book, questions and answers. My conclusion? I don't know myself at all. I thought I'd sworn off fiction entirely. Now I find it, too, touching me deeply. Go figure, huh? We are the rescuers, my friends, you and I. Thus, we often find that we are the teachers more than the listeners. Well, that wasn't well said, but if you're listening from heart, you'll get my drift. Like Ra says in the Law of One, every teaching, every situation is very much a learn teaching or a teach learning. We are always the learners too, and that's beautiful. But what I'm trying to say here is that Tony's book is quite special. If you thought you've read it all before pretty much in your life and you've lost interest as well, I'll give a link so you can go investigate. See if this one will inspire you. You may want a copy for yourself. One thing it is elevating, for sure. It will meet you wherever you are and take you higher, deeper. So, where are you? What has your self-observing shown you about yourself? Are you watching you even while you go through your days, your duties, and so on? It's a really great space to occupy, friends. There is so much here that is meat of the spirit, sustenance for and from the deep inner self. We're still rising on this spiral of light, which I trust will before long bring us out in the higher dimensions, the great shift. And I've got to tell you, I'm stepping out here. I wrote this on 2/1 and I've already shifted so much, I don't know what to say. I'll just have to put it in another journal. I'm going to be true to what I wrote here. I think for all of us, things are intensifying and continuing to do so, even when you didn't see how they could get more intense. Now, while I know it's for me and your way will be different, there are enough things similar that I think I'll share with you a few overall observations that have helped me. First, regardless of their origin, we continue to receive, via the work of the sun, energetic upgrades. When I say regardless of their origin, I believe the sun brings in cosmic rays and makes choices of what to send of those here as well. I suggest everyone acquaint themselves with spaceweather.com on a most basic level. You may be surprised to discover that when you're having an off sort of day or a different day, it may correlate with the sun's activity. I find all the information that I require down the slender left column. When the solar wind is blowing or there's been a CME, a coronal mass ejection, my body will often feel the weight of that, feel burdened. And consistently for me with an increase of pain for the duration. You may find quite a different response, maybe even a lifting of spirits. I get that at times too. I get high on it sometimes. Anything is possible, and our biology is different, so don't let my pain pull you down. No need for that. Beyond noticing this solar effect on my life, I've also learned that there are times when the other planets have an impact on my life here. Astronomy is great, but don't write off the concepts behind astrology. In the right hands, it is also a divine and an ancient science. Elizabeth Heisch, her book, Initiation, is free online, and it's an awesome presentation of this from an ancient Egyptian perspective. Stephen Forrest, a good astrologer, has a great book for intuitives that will give you the basic gift of understanding. It's very right-brainish. No lists and charts and symbols and all that. It's called The Inner Sky. I have a link for you here. And while it's not new, it's as powerful today as when it was written. Next, a Mayan astrology computer report is also a powerful thing and quite inexpensive. Link in the transcript. As for any chart, you only need the date, time, and place of birth to make it happen, and a few bucks. Here's a link on MayanMagics.com where for $12 USD you can get your report. I truly enjoyed mine. If you want a standard sort of astrological report instead, my friend Wendy does those, and they're also quite inexpensive. Link in the footnote. These are the things I've noticed that can have a real effect on my day, quite apart from whatever else the day brings. Some will be sensitive to storms. I am. Some to earthquakes. I get giddy and high and happy in the presence of thunderstorms and things. I mean, go figure. Remember, also, we're all tightly linked up together, entangled, if you will. Thus, when there's some big event somewhere, anywhere in the world or in space, we're plugged into that too. We sense it. Are you expanding your self-definition, my dears? I guess what I'm saying here is do not try to look to your personal life or your mind to explain everything. You're bigger than that. Expand out more. Recognize your larger persona, your light being that contains the whole world, the whole cosmos. No shit. Literal. This is not figurative. or romantic. Fractal. We are all telepathic to one extent or another. We're also plugged in with our soul family, also our guides, so they can affect you as well. Even the dear ones that you've lost to the 3D form, you know? From the other side, their vision is so much wider and broader, and they can be there lending you an assist. It's time to look up from the pavement that you're staring at as you walk along. It's time to recognize, on whatever level you're ready to do so, that you are a magnificent, divine being. No less. We're already one, you know. This is not something for which we must wait. Far from it. Well, since we're already one and these things already affect us, it might be nice to begin tuning in a bit more precisely to notice what's going on. If you've gotten the appropriate belief weeds pulled, you'll be open to this. Mind is what does the superficial looking around to try to figure out what influence you're feeling. So the more time we spend in heart instead of the head, the better we're able to tune in. As for me, when I was living almost entirely from mind, I wasn't able to tune clearly into any of this. Now for you, it may be different. Don't let anything at all limit you. Certainly not me. The other major thing I've self-observed is how we're all in the midst of projecting a good deal of the time. We project our insides upon what we think is outside. Some people don't do anything else, but that's mostly the sleeple and the sheeple, not us. The biggest lesson or takeaway I've gotten from this is to always look within for the source of any discomfort. So if I'm upset with Susie or Bobby or Billy, chances are excellent that what I'm projecting on them is precisely what's within me that wants to be shifted, noticed. It also works when someone is upset or even joyfully happy with you. The source of that is within them. As I often share with people in the comments, you can't see anything at all in me until you've got that very same thing within you. Until then, it's just invisible. So, this tells us that when we hear or see something that really ignites our inner fires, lifts us up, we can stop and have another look at that. That's a good time to find that very thing we're seeing in someone else existing full-blown right there within. It's a good time to own that, to claim it, to stop projecting it, and to let the full flow of gratitude just shine. You don't have to be grateful to anybody. It's just gratitude is. The sun doesn't shine because it's grateful. It just is. And this delivers a major blessing to the whole world. Nothing is what it seems to be. Now, I bet most of us have got that one by now, at least mentally, and hey, I say that's a good start. There's cuddles. To take ownership of such things requires that we enter into the direct experience of them, however, and there was cuddles. If we don't know or don't believe that we're divine, well, that makes things a good bit more challenging. It presents a cognitive dissonance, divine feelings and attributes in someone who thinks themselves more human than divine. Well, maybe then it won't stick, it won't take, so we won't be able to fully claim it yet, but we're sure to get another opportunity later. How you feel counts, and not just for yourself. Come on, keep expanding out. Keep diving deeper within. Spread those wings, my friends. Come join me, let's fly. Recognize and claim your divinity. It's there for you, but no one else can reach out and claim it for you. This is very much a do-it-yourself track. Just in case you hadn't noticed, you are the rescuer. Besides, you'll have a better way to do it than anyone else will. Why is that? Well, you are the only one of you. The only one like you in the whole universe, in the whole cosmos. You are a masterpiece, a rarity, and your essence has and is working things out in any number of concurrent lifetimes. Feeling that? It's all now. You have specialized across many embodiments in ways that no one else has. Once we all plug in to the depths of our intuition there within heart, we will be unshakable in following our own inner guidance. We'll simply know what is right for us. It may be much like someone else does it, but with a special twist or two that makes it perfectly our own. Unique. Bigger. Better. Broader than we ever imagined. That's what we are, and it's a good thing to recall when seemingly stuck in some piece or other of nonsense. Remember, again, nothing is what it appears to be. Don't trust mind, who goes blithely on, quite convinced it knows what it is doing. It doesn't. Be present within to sort this out. Be right back. Actually, heart will do all the sorting out for you. Take that in. Heart will do all the sorting out. Your part is perfectly effortless, but to reach this recognition, this experience, it takes firmly stepping aside from mind. When you hear such things that may sound impossible or improbable to you, stop. Don't shut doors like that. Remain open. Please, my friends, we've got to cease underestimating the self. We do it all the time. You are divine. How many ways can I sing this song? How can I show you what I see and feel when I'm with you, experiencing your energy? In order for me to be able to more easily pass this on to you, it takes some work in your personal belief garden. Some of those weeds have simply got to be pulled, or you won't be hearing. You'll be wearing those blinders forever. Our beliefs are self-chosen. So until we make other choices, even our soul family's hands may be tied. Changing the belief is telling them that you're ready for their assistance in some cases. It's a form of prayer. Life is so totally sacred. It's amazing. Yet, it's always been that way, only we just haven't seen, haven't experienced it yet, or not much. Too many programmed beliefs may still be in your way. You may feel unworthy, or angry, or abandoned, or any number of disempowering things. Well, the good news is that these are in your power to change. So, what's stopping you? Are you looking around and judging yourself based on what you perceive there on the surface of life? How are you limiting yourself? In what ways do you clip your own wings? How much time do you spend locked away in mind? That's easily remedied, being such a short journey from the head to the heart. Takes no time at all to get there, just takes the will. We're being simplified, slimmed down from all our previous complexity. When we were permanent residents of left brain, we tended to be highly complex and to see life that way, to project that on life. Now that we know that nothing at all is what it appears to be, well, that throws a definite wrench into the works. Quite locking things up, at least for mind. What to do? Enter heart and relax. Let go. Just be. Keep doing that. Give yourself maybe 5 minutes, morning and night, just to center and get quiet. 3 minutes, whatever. You deserve this. You even could say that you owe it to the, no, I won't. Okay, I'm going to be true to what I wrote. You even owe it to the divine self you truly are, who is forced into the shadows whenever you're locked into mind. Your divinity is ready and awaiting your presence there within. What are you afraid of? Remember, for some of the most powerful boosting along your spiritual path, get rid of those fears. And while you're at it, keep reminding yourself that you're divine. When you come to truly own this, everything you once feared will grow minuscule in proportion whenever you look on it. It can't stand the divine gaze. Can you? We're all basically having an identity crisis. I'm enjoying mine. How about you? Be in heart. Listen. There's nothing here in 3D we can't enjoy. And just ignore whatever mind has to say to it. Sometimes all we have to do is step back far enough from whatever it is to have a good clear look, huh? The more flexible you get with your perspective, being able to look at anything from really diverse angles, the happier you'll be. It makes life so much easier, so much more understandable. Let's all face it, that we live and have lived lots and loads of lifetimes. Heck, we're living them all right now. That being the case, whatever we encounter in one or more of those lifetimes, we've mastered that. We've specialized in it. Well, we can call on that consciously, bringing it into our conscious awareness. We've got every kind of help you could imagine and then some, including those other lives. And you'll learn more about this in Divining Truth, as it's a part of the fiction plot. It's pretty cool. We're all not only masters, my friends. Remember, we're little g gods. We are that. That's also the kind of support we've got to help us handle whatever appears in this life. It's simply amazing. Sometimes you'll be so down, and this will seem way too cheerful and maybe even put you off for a bit. Well, that's a really good time to self-observe. Don't believe it. Don't give in to it. Just watch. In those times that seem so dark and heavy, it seems that way due to the great load of energy you're just about finished transmuting. You may have a huge lift coming just up ahead, but not if you give in to believing that you're this little tiny human thing, so inconsequential as to be useless. Blah, blah, blah. Let mind say whatever it likes. That doesn't mean you've got to believe it. Hello. Heck, it's possible that what you're feeling is even a projection of some kind, whether from someone you know or not, or even some technology. Self-observation works on that too. Just watch. You do it from heart, you won't give in to believing any crap about the self. To have unconditional love to give, we first have to dish it out to the self, to fall in love with you. So, don't let mind beat you down. If you can't figure out what's going on, why you feel so down or whatever it is, just remind yourself that nothing is what it appears to be. Trust the inner self. Let you, loving you, be the keynote of your life. A life lived like that is worth more than another one splashed all over the news and lived in the lap of great luxury. Mind may think that you want that. Well, maybe reconsider that one. That can be a projection as well of the ads. You have an authentic inner voice, a truly unique divinity that you brought with you into this life, or that brought you, whatever. You meant to self-realize this time, and you can do it. You're likely right on schedule with it. Time to take your power back so you don't give it to anyone or anything, thus enabling that one or that thing to beat you down. Take your power back and discover that you can no longer be touched by whatever it is. Water off a duck's back. Do consider the power of just one little g God. Let your imagination soar. Now, let's consider the power of two of them getting together. Got that? Now, how about 10 million or so? Plug in, it's there for you. Do you think that could have an impact on the way life is lived here on Earth? You bet it could. Please, friends, above all, know that time itself is nothing at all like we've been taught to believe. Don't fall for anything that has an element of time to it. Any waiting or looking to the future or the past. Learn to recognize when mind is running things. A sure giveaway is this element of time. Even though it's incomprehensible right now to mind, the fact is that we've already won. Sit with that. We're already there. It's already happened, this ascension for which everyone seems to be waiting. Get out of your mind with that. All time is just now. In now, you're already ascended. You can't be put back from that unless it's by your own choice. Your choices count more and more. The more light you carry, the more coherent your waveform. Your vote counts more than others when you're a master. It's more powerful. It magnetizes others. And it's just a physics thing. No favorite son deal necessary. That just gets in the way. Just stay out of mind. If you'll just stay in heart and be content to not know. Source doesn't play favorites. We're all that favorite one, favorite son, favorite daughter, whatever. Now, what seems normal to people today is nothing but crazy. It's quite insane. The only thing stopping people from seeing it is the herd instinct and the programming they've taken on board. Well, and that they're living from mind. You're seeing more clearly due to having done a good deal of gardening in your patch of beliefs. So, while they may look at us and call us crazy, Looney Tunes, out of touch, yada yada, they just don't know. They don't realize how they're actually projecting their own fear and their own craziness out on the rest of us. And no amount of explaining or telling them will do a darn bit of good. Not until they're ready to hear it. So I suggest you just let that go. Self and now is enough. Heart will tell you when to speak up and when to keep silent, which will likely be most of the time. Just be you. That's what you came here to do, so lighten up on yourself. And stop taking this 3D life so deadly seriously, okay? It's not meant to be that. Not at all. You actually can have a good deal of fun if you keep shifting your perspectives and expanding out. You'll find how totally different life can appear just by shifting the angle of view. Enjoy yourselves, dear ones. It's not as crazy as mind likes to make out. We're actually sane and getting saner by the minute. We can't expect any reinforcement on that from the sleeple and the sheeple, though. That just doesn't make sense for them. Yet. Well, we're the rescuers, not them. Of course we're the sane ones, and we're strong enough to carry that, even though no one else we know gets us at all. You don't need them to. And that's when it really helps to know you're divine. There's a self-sufficiency in that. Your calm and beautiful retreat is ever prepared for you right there in your own kingdom of heart. It doesn't matter that it's always been there. Before just wasn't the right time. Now is. So, keep the mind out of the past just as much as out of the future expectations thing. That's yet another way to borrow trouble. There's no need for you to suffer at all. It's time to recognize the possibility that suffering is simply a choice by a mind that feels trapped. We're not talking about those pre-incarnational choices of what you'd be facing in this life, but rather about the choices you make in each now. So keep on taking your power back. Anytime you see something challenge you, look to where you gave it power to do that, since it cannot act without authority from you. Own your divinity. I don't know what more I can say. Well, yes I do. Namaste. And I won't read you the footnotes. You can go to the transcript for that if you like.